Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, Derek, and if you like GoldenEye, you're going to enjoy today's video. That is because a developer and modder going by the name of Merc17 has created an entire GoldenEye randomizer that you can play today on real hardware or via certain software emulators, and even some FPGA consoles. And even though this is not a PC source port, a lot of the modifications here are based upon the GoldenEye 007 decompilation project and everything you can learn about how the game functions and how to pivot it up. Because that is kind of the fun thing about a decomp. It isn't just useful for a PC source port, you also understand the source code underlying the game, and you can play around with it and actually recompile things or mod them back to the native hardware, in this instance N64. And you'll see here in the options menu, you have an entire randomizer option, so you can basically set whatever it is you want. And I will say right now, the absolute chaos that is the randomizer mode for GoldenEye 007 is hilarious. It's way harder than the base game, and it basically is going to test you in all the most fun ways. Because you'll see here, at least off the top, I left random level select on, and we ended up getting the caverns to start. And you're going to get random weapons, you're going to get random enemies, you're going to get random models. Basically, it's going to put everything about GoldenEye 007 into a shaker, and it's going to shake the ever-loving hell out of it just like a good martini, and you're going to get out whatever the hell it feels like. As you'll see here, at some points in time, I'm going to end up with a rocket launcher in the worst spots whatsoever, and it really kind of tests you not only to be able to play the game effectively, but also to understand exactly how it is you do and don't want to proceed, because you'll end up in situations where you have the perfect weapon for the scenario at hand. You're going to end up in situations where you basically have to run away and try to find something new just to be able to get through anything. And I think this is something that GoldenEye absolutely needed, because even when there is a source port or a recomp based upon the decompilation, whoever else anyone wants to make it, it is still going to be the same base game, which at this point in time, I have probably played a couple dozen times throughout my life. So even if it's running at 16:9 or ultra wide, 120, 240 frames per second, mouse and keyboard support, whatever, it's still going to be the same level structure. It's still going to be the same campaign. Well, I absolutely love that. It definitely needs some freshening up. So if there is a source port or recomp in the future, and I know there is one being in active development right now, I would love to see the randomizer be something that's included day one, that way you can kind of just get a fresh take on an absolutely iconic game. And next time you have game night, pop this on and definitely hand the controller back and forth and see how far people can get in levels, because sometimes the chaos and difficulty is going to be absolutely insane. And I love that every literal piece of GoldenEye has been randomized here. You're going to get random music and random levels, you're going to get random weapon drops, you're going to get random models and enemies. Even if you want, you can have that random level select where you have to go through the entire campaign in whatever order it decides to shuffle itself up into. And it is nice that you have that entire options menu, which I showed you at the beginning of the video, so you can kind of craft and tailor your own GoldenEye randomizer experience. For the most part, everything is 100% beatable. I was able to get through levels, but of course I haven't played every single campaign and mission. My assumption is that every seed in the randomness will be 100% able to be completed. But don't forget, this thing just basically came out like 18 hours ago as the recording of this video, so it's going to have to wait and see as people play it more if there's anything going on. And just so you know, this will work in Ares, it'll work on real hardware with flash cards, but I tried something like the 1964 emulator as well as Rosalie's Moop and GUI, and you just go to a black screen on this one. So if you just want to emulate it, Ares is going to be your emulator of choice, because it's the only one that actually works. Let's do an early soundtrack sample so you can understand what I mean by randomized music. It is hilarious, and I'll be right back with a ton more of the GoldenEye randomizer for everyone. I mean, honestly, that's absolutely a vibe when it comes to the music playing in the actual intro level of GoldenEye, and that really is the thing about the GoldenEye randomizer and some randomizers out there. They can actually make you laugh and they can be funny. Sure, if you go over to something like the Symphony of the Night Recomp and the Randomizer there, it can be absolute chaos. You can really struggle to find items, but nothing is really going to make you laugh. Where here in GoldenEye, all the random models popping up, all the characters that are out of place, all the music that doesn't make any contextual sense for the actual gunfights and gameplay you're in, that actually made me laugh more than once when I was capturing the footage. And that's the sign of a good randomizer. Not only is it fun, not only is it completable, but it's also kind of hilarious around the edges. Now, I want to talk about the fact that this is based upon the GoldenEye Decompilation project, which is getting very close to 100% right now. ROM hacks have existed long before the Decomp project even started, and they will definitely exist after the fact. But doing something like a full randomizer, if you were just editing the hex values in the compiled version of GoldenEye, would probably be near to impossible. Because as much as modders know about the game out there, there's a ton they don't know. But when you actually decompile the game back to its source code, you basically get a look completely under the hood and how everything works. And then from there, you can kind of make your changes and then bring them back not only to a PC source port, but to an actual build that will work on N64. Think of it this way: if you're trying to look up a definition of a word, a dictionary would be really useful versus not having anything whatsoever. So the decompilation is kind of your dictionary where you can look up every single function in the game, every single line of code to understand exactly how GoldenEye works, and then from there you can change that code to make it kind of do whatever it is you want. And even though this is obviously still being rendered out into N64 or emulation, it is using that decompiled source code to be able to make this randomizer. If you think about it this way, the fact that we have so many amazing GoldenEye ROM hacks before the Decomp project even started is just a testament to how creative the ROM hacking community out there can truly be. But this just shows that decompilations are so useful across the board. One day, probably soon, we're going to have that PC port, and it's going to be absolutely outstanding, but in the meantime, we have a full randomizer, and again, the chaos of this is just absolutely so much fun, and seeing not James Bond or Pierce Brosnan there jump off the dam, again, it kind of just makes you chuckle. And that character could have been basically any model in the game. It could have been Oddjob or anyone else jumping off the dam. You kind of get a different run every single time you play the game. And I can't wait to see some speedruns of this as well. A randomizer 100% complete mode would absolutely be hilarious just because it's all down to luck and exactly what you get. As you'll see here as we jump in, we have the laser, and that is just something that you're not going to see in any of these levels. And that, again, just makes the game feel fresh. Because I love GoldenEye, I will always say it's one of the best N64 games ever made, but it's something that I probably just play maybe once every 2 to 3 years. I get a couple of levels in, and then I end up wandering away to do something different. That's because by like the 4th level I remember, I know everything about the game, I played it so many times, I could probably go play a different game and get a new experience. But a randomizer kind of solves that problem. And it's one of those things. I talk about games all the time, I play them in the background, and between different FPGA tests, different actual ROM hacks like this, I probably covered GoldenEye on the channel like a half dozen times at this point in time just for videos. When I actually started the randomizer, I thought to myself, is this going to feel kind of like quote-unquote work making this video because I knew a lot of people would want to know about it, or am I going to just sit down and have fun? And I ended up with way more footage than I needed to cut together the video because I just realized I was having a great time with the randomizer, laughing about everything I saw, and getting kind of frustrated with some of the scenarios where I ended up accidentally blowing myself up completely because I ended up in a rocket launcher fight when I really just needed something like a silenced pistol. But let's do one more soundtrack sample again, maybe not as funny of music this time, but still kind of interesting just how it pivots itself up. And if you do want to play this one today, there is a link in the description below to the mod that you can patch your ROM with. But go ahead and listen, I'll be right back with more. See, never bring a grenade launcher to a gunfight in a warehouse when a simple pistol would suffice. And that really is the fun thing about the randomizer. Sometimes it's going to frustrate you, but in all the best ways. All you're going to need is the right weapon. You're going to end up with a couple explosive weapons in a corridor, and you're going to basically have to run away and find something different to switch to. But honestly, I love this randomizer. Merc17 has done a great job with it, and trust me, you definitely want to play this one. So again, the link is in the description below. You'll have to patch your legally owned version of GoldenEye, but otherwise it's very easy, and from there you'll be off to the races, enjoying one of the best projects as far as N64 is concerned that wasn't a static recomp or decomp based source port of 2026. And again, because it is based upon the decompilation, it really goes to show that decompiling games isn't just for source ports, it is for a lot of other functions. And today, while we wait for that PC port in the future, you have a full GoldenEye Randomizer ROM hack that you can enjoy on real hardware or in areas. But short of that, we're done. Definitely check this one out. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. And trust me, be careful of headshots. Bye-bye.